So in the city, what you can do is if you can have a vehicle, then you own something. So let's talk about like good money math in the beginning. So the idea is you want to own something that you live in, ideally, and you don't want to be paying no rent, you don't want to be paying a mortgage, you don't want to have any debt. And people, like I said, they think they have to have this high-paying job and they have to go into all this debt and stuff to get to that place. But you can have a minimum wage job and get to that place. Like you can start now, you can start small. And the way you do this is, you get some kind of vehicle, or you start like that, and you rough it in the beginning. Just like if you were going on some land and homestead, you would rough it in the beginning. You might build a little tent, and then you build a little shack, and then you build a little hut, and then you get a house, and you keep growing like this, right? This model of like, I have to borrow and pay off this huge debt, and then eventually no, like we're not doing that no more. So one of the other problems is image. So the system, the matrix, this economic matrix we're in, this capitalist system, is constantly pumping you with images that will make you insecure about who you are, right? And it's like, oh, to be somebody, you have to have this or you have to have that, right? And so, you have to have nice clothes, a nice car, especially in a city like LA. It's very image conscious, right? It's so stupid because like in LA, you could be a millionaire, but if you dress kind of down, everyone will treat you bad. But you could be some like homeless person, and then you have with no homeless person that doesn't have any money or anything, and but you dress good, maybe you have a good suit, and people will treat you like royalty, right? You could be renting a house in Beverly Hills paying $10,000 a month, and people treat you like royalty, even though it's not your house and you're in massive debt, right? Or you could drive a Mercedes that you're in debt for. People treat you great. You could be driving a junk car you own that you got at the auction, and you only pay $500 for, and you own it outright, but people treat you bad because your car looks bad. Like, so that's what we're dealing with. And like, for a lot of us, especially in the days of social media, it's like, it's really difficult to push through that, because we're tying our, especially with Instagram, everything is about image and how you look, you have a good picture, blah, blah, blah. And, you can't, so then people want to live this image. They want to look like the super beautiful people on Instagram to be happy, right? And that kind of feeds this whole system, because then you got to go be a consumer, you got to go into debt, you got to do all this crap to like pretend that you have something. So anyway, we don't want to do that. We want to actually have something, and we want to live the natural way. So sorry to be all long-winded about it, but I'm just going to get to the point now. So why did you want to do this? Is to increase your net worth, your financial value, right? You can actually start doing that right now, so that you're not in debt, and your balance sheet, which is your assets minus your liabilities, what you have minus what you owe, is actually positive. You want to start from day one positive. Not this idea that like you got to go into debt, and then maybe 20 years from now, if you paid off your debt and somehow get ahead, that you'll have it. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, that's not the way. That's not our way. But the point is that you can get ahead financially. So to give you one example, which is kind of a rough example, and it's kind of an outlier, but I'll just use it to kind of get your attention, is like, there's this YouTuber named Prowse, and he was homeless for a while, but he was forced to live in vehicles because he had a disability. And then because of his disability, and he couldn't really do normal jobs, he wrote this book, a couple ebooks about it, but he started learning about solar energy and solar panels. He wrote an ebook about it. He started selling that online. All the while, he's living in his RV, vehicle, van, car. He's had several RVs. But now he has a successful YouTube channel, and he just paid cash like $300,000 for a house in Las Vegas. Now people will look at that example and say, yeah, but he had a successful YouTube channel. I can't do that. What they don't understand is that with the nomad way of life, when you own your living space, and then you control your time. And then when you have time, you can invest it in the things you want to do. When you're not forced to go to a 9-to-5 job to pay your rent, and if you don't, you're going to be homeless, right? So then you really don't have time to invest in anything. It's like you're trapped. You can't invest in the things that could get you out of it. Well, he had the time because he didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 job because he controlled his living space and owned it outright. Yes, it was a car, van, or RV, but it's the same state, right? So I guess, this is something I'm trying to get across to my kids, and I was inspired to make these videos because of my daughter, Mari, who is 20, and, she did the college thing a little bit. She's an artist, and she's trying to find her way. And right now, her and a friend of hers and several of her friends were renting. They're renting like a boarding room kind of thing, and it's horrible because they don't have a lease, they don't have anything. Anyway, they don't have anything, so they don't even have tenant rights, really. It's just bad. So I've been trying to convince her that she needs to buy a vehicle, an RV or something. I mean, if you're a young person today and you're not married and you don't have kids, to me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why are you struggling, But, my kids, they're kind of all into this sort of consumer society, and they want to be comfortable. So I guess they have to learn their own lessons. But she, last time I talked to her, her goal was to get an RV and start on this path. So I started talking to her about it, and that's what inspired me to do these videos. I'm like, I could just do these videos and help everyone. So the point is that it gives you freedom, it gives you time, you're not under that guillotine. Now you can work a 9-to-5 or whatever job you want, but it gives you options, right? If you want, because another thing that happens is that people get a job, then they get some lifestyle going, they rent some expensive place or whatever, then they hate their job and they can't quit because then they won't be able to pay their rent. So now they're trapped, right? You don't want to be in that situation. If you control your living situation and you own it outright, be it a van, car, vehicle, boat, whatever, then you can say, you know what, I don't like this job, I'm gonna quit, or I'm gonna stop doing it. And then you stop doing it, and then you can sit at home and think and contemplate, go for walks, go to the beach, you can move around, maybe somewhere more inspiring. And then you can think about, well, I think I want to do this. And then you have the time and energy to invest in it. This is really important point here. Most people working 9-to-5 jobs, you're so burnt out by it that by the end of the day, you're not going to have time to do nothing. So maybe on the weekends, you have a little time to invest in the thing you really want to do. It's once you're in the matrix, it's really hard to extract out of it. And it's designed that way. It's brilliant. I feel like Agent Smith was like, it's brilliant in its conception or whatever.
Ever stood and stared at it, marveled at its beauty, its genius? Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
I don't know if someone designed it on purpose or just evolved this way, but for the people at the top, it's freaking brilliant. No wonder the income inequality is going like that, because if you don't have $1 million and own some rental property right now and you're getting that passive income, you're screwed. It's just like Monopoly, If you don't own Boardwalk and Park Place, and you're screwed. And that's the way it is. Yeah, it's great for everyone. That was me being sarcastic. So anyway, so it can give you time, freedom, meaning time to do what you want. It can give you the money to do what you want, because now instead of paying rent, all that money can be invested. You can save it, you can invest it in whatever, and then when you're ready to invest in your project or whatever it is, you have the money to do it, and you don't have to borrow to do it. So give you time, money, peace of mind. You can go somewhere and just have peace of mind for a little bit. Now don't get me wrong, there's a price to pay, and it has its downsides, and it's not all like butterflies and pancakes. There's definitely a dark side to the whole alternative living thing. But, that's natural, right? Like when the first settlers or whoever, I don't like using the word settlers, but, when the first indigenous people explored some new lands and found it and settled, there was dangers, there was unknowns. That's natural. That's the natural part of life. To be in a situation where you're not sure, you're insecure, and you don't know what's going to happen. Another negative, propaganda message is this idea of like, let us take care of you so that we can make you secure. You need security. We'll give you the security so you don't have to have all those worries. Yeah, that's all nice and good and all, but it makes you kind of weak and like, vulnerable. So when the system breaks down, like there's a disaster or fire or a virus or whatever, or an economic downturn, like right now people are being evicted. You know what I mean? It's like, it's unbelievable. Like we have this great so-called system in the richest country in the world is kicking families out on the street in the middle of a pandemic. Like it's just unbelievable to me. I don't care who the landlord is or what the situation is. Like that should not be happening at all. And if it does happen, there should be someone there ready to catch those people and help those people. And that's why I want to do these messages right now, because I just feel like I wish those people could understand this before they end up getting kicked out. Because I hear all these stories of people being kicked out with nothing because they kind of were complacent and they just did what they were told, and now they're out literally on the street with their stuff. It's just horrible. I mean, so I'm just like, no. I was there, been there, done that. It's like, so. But yeah, give you time, money, peace of mind, control over your life, right? Because when you're renting someone's thing, or even when you have a house and a mortgage, you're not totally in control. It's sort of an illusion of control. It's not your house, really. You're borrowing money, or you're borrowing the house, or you're borrowing the car. Like, you want to control your assets and your tools. Like, this is my place, my thing, I own it, So usually with the alternative living thing, the most thing you have to worry about is your vehicle registration or boat registration and insurance. Like that's all you have to really worry about. I mean, and maintenance, right? But that it gives you power, because even if you have a maintenance issue and you can't solve it, you have the time to sit there and figure it out. You're not under this time guillotine of someone like threatening to evict you if you don't have the money. You can just sit there. Say you have a bus and it breaks down. You have the time now to figure it out. So anyway, that's it, I guess. I might do more about the benefits, but I feel like I'm kind of going on too long about this. As I talk about the other things about how to do it, we can talk more. I'll talk more about the benefits as things pop in my mind. So that's it for now. Welcome. If you can, like and subscribe. Share with your friends that might be in these situations that could use this information. Make a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm so passionate about this subject. Like, yeah, I would love to talk to you. So yeah. So the next video, I'm actually going to start telling you how to do this, how to break out of the matrix.